Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. You gotta click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. Boy, I sure hope this live streaming is a little quirky. I haven't figured out just when the recording begins, so hopefully that didn't catch me going back in my short shorts to get my bubbly. I don't know. It is what it is. Got a lime bubbly this evening. Hope everyone's having a nice day. DJ Netronic, welcome, 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 welcome. What a good day in the markets if you're a Caspa holder. Does anyone here do intermittent fasting? It was something that I was spinning my wheels on a little bit today in terms of potentially introducing into my diet maybe like 2 to 3 days during the week. I think based on what I was reading, I would consider something like an 8-16 plan. An 8-16 plan would be you'd eat anything that you're going to eat, you eat within those 8 hours, and then you fast for 16. That's not a whole lot different from what I do today. I mean, my first bite of food might be at 6, maybe as late as 6:30. And then see, dinner can vary depending on the day. So like I do this live stream and I'll have dinner at like, by the time this live stream's done, I might have dinner at 6:30. So it would really mean if I started eating at say 6:30, 6:30 and did roughly 8 hours, it would mean I would need to be done eating, I would say by like 3 o'clock. So, so there is a several hour difference there, but I'm curious if anybody here does intermittent fasting. Let me take a look at the comments here. Hope everyone's having a nice day. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. DJ Netronic, you saw my tweet earlier today. Let me just point you to this. I wouldn't suggest getting fudded out by the FTX news or that same douchebag posting about Binance's impending collapse in the next several weeks. I've been here for way too long to be impacted by bullshit like that. If you capitulate, you'll be kicking yourself next year. So that is my view. You're getting no notifications about the live stream even though you clicked all notifications. Interesting. I can reach out to YouTube and let them know that I've had some subscribers having issue getting notifications. I'll look into that. Thank you for letting me know. I don't know what the issue is there. Is anyone else having that issue? If you click all notifications, you're not getting notified about the live stream. That would be a little frustrating. YouTube makes it really non-intuitive, right? You click a channel, you click the bell icon, but then you have to click all notifications. Like, why can't you just click the bell in one single? It's really stupid, to be honest. I got to say I'm getting more and more excited for Tesla, even though not crypto, still an exciting stock. I don't really follow it much, but there certainly are a lot of things coming out by Tesla, but I don't actually follow the stock price at the moment. What else do we have here? Kathleen, glad to see you in the house. I have so much appreciation for what you do, your honesty. Kathleen, you're always full of such nice, positive feedback. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing that. Honestly, it never gets old. For somebody who puts in a lot of work in this stuff, hearing those things never gets old, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. DJ Netronic, I stop eating around 6 or 7, and I eat the next day around 12. Okay, so you do, I mean, based on that, you're doing like 18 hours right there. So Kathleen is having the same problem on all notifications, so you're not getting notifications that I'm going live. That's really weird. Okay. What's up, Kyle? I will contact YouTube shortly after this live stream. I'm sort of doing intermittent fasting today. I had my dinner around 4-ish, so I won't eat again until 6:30 tomorrow. So that's like 14 and a half hours. So I'm gonna try, like, I think like a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm gonna probably try to, or not probably, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm gonna introduce it and see if I can stick with it and if I notice anything from it. By the way, if you do appreciate my content outside of YouTube, if you found me on YouTube, guys, I don't know everyone who's tuned in. You can also find me on Twitter. I do routine updates on charts on Twitter, as well as Instagram. Instagram's mostly just gym motivational stuff. And then TradingView. I've been pretty inactive on TradingView, very inactive the past couple years. But at some point I could get back on TradingView and be active. So you can give me a follow on there as well if I start posting content up on TradingView. Guys, let's talk about the markets. You know, I was trying to think about, and I don't know if anyone saw, who here has seen, but I did drop a new Bitcoin video today that's well worth your watch. I think this is the first week in the past couple months that I've been dedicated to getting 3 TA videos out a week. Struggling to think about what I want to actually produce for Friday. Honestly, the only excitement in any project that I've seen, at least that I follow, it's been Caspa. This cup and handle pattern looks like it's playing out. I just released a video, actually 2 videos on Caspa, Monday and Tuesday. It's really the only project I can think of I'm following that, you know, has seen some significant excitement this week. So I might put out another video on Caspa for Friday. I was going to save a video for honestly next week. But if there really isn't anything else exciting going on, I do want to get some content out for Friday. So I'll have to think about that. But yeah, nothing else super exciting going on here. We can take a look at a few charts. There were a few charts that I thought of ahead of the live stream that I did want to take a look at with you guys. And then I will open it up for TA Q&A. So with that being said, let's get into it. Now, this is the 12-hour chart. This is not the correct 12-hour chart, though. This is not the one I wanted. Here we go. So you can see right now, yesterday. So let's talk about price action from yesterday. I had indicated I wanted to close above this 50 simple moving average at like 20. It was at that point it was like 26,075. Very good with the numbers. I remember numbers. And you can see this candlestick, which closed out the day we closed below. This is actually a very bearish candlestick. So we ended up closing below. We're battling above right now. And you can see it's not coincidental, guys. Look. Since we've fallen below 26,300, look at how many times we've been trying to get above it. Now, we have hit that resistance multiple times now. What's going to happen in an area of resistance when you hit it a multitude of times like this? As the level of frequency increases to which you hit a level of resistance, it actually doesn't prove, it does prove that the resistance is strong, but actually what happens is it's like taking a hammer or a jackhammer and just pounding the wall. Eventually, if you're hitting it this many times, it actually becomes weaker. So the probabilities are increasing at the moment that we are going to see a bounce above 26,300. So then the question you have to ask yourself, if we're going to break above 26,300, which in my opinion looks very likely at the moment, there's a couple questions you need to ask yourself. The first question you need to ask yourself is, where are we going to find resistance after we break 26,300? I have it laid out very well here. First off, main thing that I want to point out here, we have all these lower highs coming in, right? All this bearish lower high action going in. So the first thing we want to do is start breaking above this descending resistance. That also coincides roughly with the area of resistance around 27,500, okay? So this whole zone in here with descending resistance in 27,500, that's going to be your first major area of price resistance. I'm using the 12-hour to define this area of resistance. I also know, and we can take a look at the daily to confirm this, but this area around 27,500, that also coincides with the 200 simple moving average on the daily. Now, again, once we're below moving averages, they act as resistance. So that roughly 27,500, 27,600, that's going to be a major area of resistance. Now, what is on deck next after that? Look at 28,200. It also lines up perfectly with the 200 SMA at 28,300. So first area of resistance is that 27.5, 27.6 area. Next major area is going to be 28.2, 28.3. When am I going to feel not convicted. I won't feel convicted at that point. But when will I, let me actually ask the second question. The second question you should ask yourself, if we're really going to see a bounce above 26,300, which does look likely to be the case, the second question you should ask yourself is, should we expect this to eventually form another lower high and roll over and go lower? Or is this ultimately going to bounce higher? Again, there have not been any developments in those higher time frames, which are more statistically significant in those weeklies. I've pointed to several weekly charts, and you should know the indicators, and you should know the charts I've spoken to at this point, because I've covered them in the past couple weeks. We're not going to go over them right now. You can go back to prior videos that I've published. Those charts are still bearish in nature, and they're bearish in nature in the shorter to intermediate term. Okay, nothing has flipped on those charts to make me think that we're still not going to see downside, right? So I still lean in the camp that even if we do get that bounce here, which it looks like we're going to get, I still lean to us rolling over and finding a bottom in the areas that I spoke to 2 Bitcoin videos ago from last week. I spoke to my primary level, and then I spoke to my lowest level, which is like a capitulatory flash crash level, right? That is where I'm still leaning. I can't. I'm not going to get emotional about this market as much as I want to see things flip very green to the upside today and tomorrow. I still think this month is going to provide a high degree of volatility to the downside, and if I'm correct about that, it's going to provide you an opportunity and me an opportunity to accumulate at even lower a price level. Okay, that's still how I see it. Now, what I start to feel convicted that the higher probability scenario of a further correction this month, okay, the higher probability scenario of a further downside, when would I begin to feel that that is invalidated? Okay. Well, the first level that I'd want to see us get above is the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour chart. Actually, let me take that back. Let me go to the daily. I take that back. In my mind right now, the way I'm thinking about it is there are sort of 3 steps. And as we start to, if we were to accomplish these 3 steps before further downside, with each successive step, the probability is increasing, okay, that we're not going to see that downside. So let me lay this out to you. Step number 1 would be to get a candle body close, not a wick, a candle body close above the 200 simple moving average on the daily, okay? Now that area is around 27,600, okay? So we really need to push up and get a daily close right in this area. It's about 27,600, 27,700, right? We get a close there, check mark 1. I'm feeling the probabilities are starting to slightly turn towards us not seeing more downside, okay? Step number 2, go to the 12-hour chart. You're actually working in reverse order in terms of time frame. So this is the higher time frame daily chart. Step number 2 would be this 200 simple moving average at about 28,300. If you see a 12-hour candlestick close, a candle body close, and I would say 2 candlesticks, I should have said that here too. 2 candlesticks is really confirmation. So it's not 1 candlestick, it's 2 candlesticks. 2 candlestick closes above this 200 moving average on the 12-hour at 28,300. Check mark number 2. Now the probabilities are really starting to tilt towards, I don't know that we're going to see that downside. I think things are really turning. Now, the other important thing to keep in mind is we've checked off step 1 and step 2. That has also had a significant impact on those weekly time frames. At 28,300, we'd be out of the Gaussian channel on the weekly, which would be monumentally bullish. We want to get out of that green Gaussian channel, right? Right now, actually, just for a visual, I'll show you guys real quick. I just feel like I don't want to be too redundant. Like I've hit on these charts so many different times in so many videos, and I can appreciate you guys can't tune into every single video, but some of these are published videos. I try to keep them short in nature so you can get so you can stay privy on things and be current in my train of thought. And I don't want to have to continue to go over the same things. But we haven't looked at this in a while, so let me speak to it. You can see at 28,300 what it would also conversely do on the 12-hour if we close above this 200 simple moving average. You see the confluence here, right? Not only is there statistical significance in getting confirmation of closing above this moving average on the 12-hour, and that's statistically significant. I've studied the 12-hour chart ad nauseum in videos in years past. Okay, there's statistical significance with that. It's gonna increase that likelihood we're going to continue going higher. But also the confluence exists on the weekly chart on the Gaussian channel, right? We'd be above the Gaussian channel, which would be also very bullish. And also the other thing you have to keep in mind, you might say, well, why aren't you looking at the 200 SMA on the weekly? Well, by getting above this 27.6 area, okay, on the daily, I think it's 27.6. We would be above, and we can quick take a look at it. This is why I'm not pointing it out. So there's so much confluence that exists at some of these charts. So you'll see, even on the weekly, right? Look at the 200 simple moving average. It's at 27,700, right? So by nature of closing above the 200 simple moving average on the daily, we're essentially going to be closing above the 200 simple moving average on the weekly, right? So again, hopefully you followed all that, and I explained that well. Check mark 1. Okay, step 1, let's get above the 200 simple moving average on a candle body closing basis, 2 candlesticks, confirmation. Above the 200 SMA, check 1. Check 2, same moving average 12-hour chart, and same thing, okay? We got to get above there and close above there for 2 candlesticks, right? Now, once we get that bullish confirmation, step 1 and step 2, if that were to happen, now I'm starting to think, wow, this whole thing's been a fake out. Right? I'm starting to really sort of lean that way. But what would make me ultimately feel convicted that we're not going to see downside? You know, that primary region I identified, which I believe, I'd have to go back to the video, I think I identified it as between 23.5 and 21.5. What would make me think that primary zone's not going to get touched this month? If we break and close above on a daily candle basis, $30,000. Why do I say $30,000? $30,000 is a psychological level. If you believe that psychological levels don't exist within charts, and I've spoken to this too many times and I've seen it play out in too many charts, just if you're new to the market and you're like, why, what do you mean psychological levels? Think of $100,000. Why is there so much conversation about Bitcoin at $100,000? You would think if the market exercised more logic in terms of where they wanted to spend their energy and time talking about, we would be talking about market capitalization of an asset versus a specific dollar value, right? Why? Because of human emotion, because of that psychological level, right? All that emotion is baked into the chart. So 30,000 is psychological. With all the momentum to the downside that we've seen, if we were to recapture $30,000 within the next week, that is monumentally increasing the likelihood that we're going to test right back up to that $31,008, $32,000 area. And when we retest it, it's been like, it'll be for like the third time or fourth time, I don't know. It's going to break, okay? So if checkmark 3 is if you see a daily candle close above $30,000. If that happens, in my opinion, we're not seeing that downside. This whole thing has been a fake out. The weekly charts are what they are. I'm interpreting that a higher probability scenario is based on those charts. But as I have said many times on this channel, they're probabilities, right? Think of going to the doctors. Actually, I don't want to use that. Actually, that's a bad example. Think of anything in life. That's a really bad example. Think of anything in life where you're told there's a probability, right? It may be 30% this and 70% this. It doesn't mean because there's a 70% probability. If you think of meteorology, meteorologists seem to be terrible with forecasting the weather, at least down here. If there's a 30% chance of rain showers and 70% it's not going to happen, then all of a sudden you step outside and it's downpouring, the 30% probability played out, guys, all right? It's the same thing with these charts. I'm interpreting the weekly charts correctly to say, guys, this is a huge red flag. We're probably going to see more downside because the probabilities suggest that. It doesn't have to happen though. And so what I'm attempting to communicate to you right now is what things would need to be present within price to begin to invalidate that higher probability scenario. Does that make sense? Let me know if that in the comments if that doesn't make sense. So those are the 3 steps: 200 on the daily, 200 on the weekly, 200 on the daily, 200 on the 12-hour, and then closing and staying above $30,000 with a daily close for that psychological level. Once that if that third step were to take place, we're not going to see further downside, in my opinion. We're going to continue to bust a nut higher. Let's see what comments we have. That was predominantly what I wanted to share on Bitcoin. Because again, this price action we're seeing today, it's encouraging and everything. This does nothing for me. I've laid out the 3 steps for you. This doesn't get me excited at all. What's going to get me excited is step 1, step 2, and step 3. And I will get a heightened increased level of excitement with each successive step if it were to pan out. Then yes, then I think we're well on our way. But don't get me wrong, I'm fine if we have the correction I'm talking about. If we go lower, I'm all good with that. Because still macro, I'm monumentally bullish, as I've said. So if I can scoop up Bitcoin at 21,000, 22, 23,000, or hell, even 19, 18, 17,000, I'm good. I'm not worried about that one bit. It would be a huge advantage to be able to accumulate at those levels. Thumbs up for everyone new tuning in, would appreciate. I see a lot of people joining in. No one's hitting the thumbs up. Let's see what we got here. Kathleen's playing a role here. Appreciate it. I don't know. I know Jesus is king, but we're not going to get down a faith-based journey of conversation here. I know you're referring probably to a token, but yes, Jesus is king in my opinion. But we're not going to talk about faith. GJ Netronic. It feels like if we don't go much lower soon, we'll be headed back. Well, I laid out the steps, my friend. I answered all that question in here. Questions are a little lagged based on me responding to everything, so I've answered all those questions. Cannabis outlaws. So what is with, I see a lot of spam in the comment. I'm not a huge fan of spam in the comments. I see multiple people coming on the live stream right now and trying to promote a project. When we get to TA Q&A, I can, if there is a project name that, I can certainly chart it out. But would appreciate it in the comments to not continually promoting the same project within 20 comments. I hear you loud and clear, so we can take a look at it if we have time here. Not spam. We want Jesus Coin TA. All right, we'll take a look at it. Before we get into Jesus Coin, there were there were 2 coins I wanted. No, there were 3. There were 3 coins I wanted to take a look at with you guys, and then we'll get into your questions. All right, my friend, I've never seen you in the comments before, so I appreciate it. You're new to the live stream. I appreciate it. It's just when I see multitude of comments of the same coin, it, as a content creator, just begins to make you wonder. There's so much. There's so many bots out there. So many people with spam. I get it. Like if you look at my YouTube comments, which I'm so far behind in, there's so much spam in there. There's so much spam, and it's frustrating. I report all of it, but very frustrating. So Cannabis Outlaws and the other guy, Brecky. Appreciate you viewing, coming into the channel if you're a new subscriber. So before we get into that project, let's take a look at Casper right now. This is on the 3-day. I have a major area of resistance that I can flip this to support. I've spoken about 4.3 cents forever. You can see right now we literally have wicked perfect up to 4.88 cents. I mean, you could not chart this out any better, all right? I'm very quick to call out things that I chart and it doesn't pan out, and then I'm going to call things out like this that have worked perfect. Again, you had the opportunity for weeks to accumulate between this golden buy zone. We've broken out of the falling wedge / handle in the cup and handle pattern. We're facing resistance at 4.88 cents. Once we smash through there, we're going to crush this all-time high. and we're going to be going significantly higher in my opinion. Now, I did tweet something out today. You can take a look at it when you have a moment, and you can fact check me. But what I did, CAS doesn't have a ton of price history, right? What I did notice was that this is the fourth golden cross in the history of this project on the 4-hour. And each of the prior golden crosses, I think I ate dinner too fast, getting a little indigestion, sorry. Each of the prior 3 golden crosses have led to these rates of increase. And so if you average them out, it puts CASP at 20 cents. And I actually looked at the time frame too. Not to say that'll happen. I'm just exercising logic and saying an average time frame. Yeah, I took like an average time frame here and said, this could happen by like, no, this was something else. What was I looking at here? No, this is correct. I just took the past 2 times and took somewhere in the middle and said, we could see roughly maybe 20 cents if it follows something similar as before by mid-November. So I thought I had mid-October for some reason, but mid-November. So that's like 2 months from now. So in 2 months, we could see a price that hits around 20 cents. So we'll have to see. But it's this chart. I mean, if anything, I'm invested in at the moment within crypto. It's not only from a fundamental perspective, am I monumentally bullish on it and excited about the project. I've alluded to that a multitude of times. It's why, if you check out my channel, why do you think I'm putting so many CASPA videos out there? I'm excited about the project. I'm trying to share it with everybody. That's the whole reason I'm putting these videos out here. But I was going to say, from a technical perspective, it's definitely the strongest chart that I'm currently invested in. Now, if we take a look at Matic, I wanted to give an update on Matic because with the rest of the market, we're seeing a lot of weakness here. But I wanted to highlight, so far, let's see, where was this low at? 51 cents, and we went down to 49. So far, let me just point this out to you, and I want everyone here to understand a basic concept in TA. This is a double bottom. And your initial reaction to me might be, no, it's not. This is not a double bottom. Let's flip this to a weekly. This is not a double bottom because back in June, we hit like 51 cents, and now we've hit 49 cents. A double bottom does not imply that the price is hitting the exact, well, this is fucking frustrating. Jesus Christ. All right. A double bottom does not. All right, well, you get the point. I can't fix this because TradingView's being a turd. A double bottom, actually, what was the low here? Yeah, 49. A double bottom does not imply that the USD price hits the exact same dollar value at 2 different points in time. What it does imply is at two distinct points, it hits relatively the same value. Okay, that is what it implies. I would argue 51 and 49 cents are the same freaking thing, all right? So right now we have a double bottom. Not only do we have a double bottom, we have higher lows, and we still have higher highs coming into the chart. I know this thing has corrected longer and harder than I thought it would, and many thought it would, okay? It doesn't change the macro perspective. Yes, there's current weakness in price. There's no debating that. It's not in the top 10 anymore. It fell out of the top 10. It's fallen back to 14. It's behind Polkadot. So clearly there's been a lot of weakness in the price. It doesn't mean that this thing can't turn around. And still, when you look at the chart, it's still monumentally bullish in my opinion. Now, if we look at the technicals, we can see the RSI is we need some momentum to come in here to get this stochastic RSI to cross up. There's just no momentum in this right now. If we go to a 3-day, is there any bullish divergence, anything going on here? And you can see I haven't looked at the chart in a while because this should all be resistance. We just need some momentum to come into this. And there really isn't any right now. Really struggling with TradingView today. One could argue there is some divergence here because you do have price technically going lower here relative to here back in June. And you can actually see that the RSI is increasing. So there is a little bit of bullish divergence playing out here, at least on the 3-day, not on the weekly. But this thing needs to turn around. Right now, it needs to hold that 49 cent area. If we start going significantly below 49 cents, this isn't a double bottom. We're forming a new low. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, how low could we go? I see 45 cents as an area of support. and I see another area at 40 cents. So if we start to significantly break 49 cents, you're talking about a possible 20% downside, 20 to 25% downside. You're looking between 45 to 40 cents. That's what I would look out for. One other quick update before I get to the comments here, and I will get to Jesus Coin in a moment. That feels so funny saying that. It feels so awkward saying that, I should say. XDC, I wanted to give an update to my friends on XDC. This one right now for the moment is literally doing exactly what I said, right? I just sketched this out, and the purpose in the last live stream when I sketched this out, I left this unchanged. I haven't done anything to this. The purpose wasn't to show you the exact timing of when I anticipate this thing to bottom and then begin to move up. The premise of this blue line is to show you the general expectation for price, and it's doing exactly what I said. Remember, I said when we got out of this falling wedge, we'd have some bounce right up in this region. We did exactly that. But I said ultimately we'd roll over because we ultimately lost this area of support at 5.6 cents, 5.63, whatever cents. And there's really not a lot of price confluence in this zone. And I said it just makes way too much sense to fall all the way down to 4.6 and as low as 4 cents, right? Don't know how low we're going to go ultimately, especially if there's a correction in Bitcoin. I mean, I think this thing's going to fall and present a great buying opportunity. Because again, when you do zoom out, don't want to lose perspective here. Don't want you guys to confuse my words and say, oh my God, CBG is bearish on XDC. No, I'm not. This is a beautiful looking chart. This thing ran all the way from like market cap ranking like 100 or wherever it was, 120, 110, 90, I don't know. It went all the way up to like 45, 44. This is a monumentally bullish chart. It's one of the more beautiful charts I've evaluated in crypto. So this is just a healthy short-term, short to intermediate term correction. There's going to be consolidation, all right? But again, this is where it pays off to understand charting. We have all these higher lows coming in here. And once we come down here, which I think we're going to, it's going to be another higher low. And what do we have? We have higher highs, guys. How can you not be bullish on this chart? We're just experiencing a healthy correction. All right, let me get to the comments in a moment, but I did want to get to my first charting question here. I'm looking at time. We're already running up against time here. So I'm going to try to make this live stream a little bit shorter. I will be back tomorrow. So if there are charting questions that I can't answer today, by the way, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Thumbs up, thumbs up. And if there are days where you come to the live stream and you do ask a TA question and I don't have an opportunity to get to it, I'm very good about getting to that charting question tomorrow. Now, I don't take notes, okay? So you have to join the next day to ask the question. But I do have a good memory of the people I don't get to or the charting questions I don't get to. So as long as you rejoin the next day, I'll get to your charting question. I'm very good about that. Let's take a look at Jesus. I'm just curious. What in God's name is this? No pun intended, but what in the world is this? Does it give you an overview of the project? If I think of it, I'll read about it later. This is on Poloniex. Is there another... Did this thing just get ICO'd or what's the deal? This is all the price? That is all the price. Okay. This is on Poloniex. This is a 3-day. Now, one thing I will say, you can see we're in a downtrend, right? But is there anything else that you notice in the chart? This is sort of a rounding bottom, and now we've started to flatten out. It wouldn't surprise me, I haven't evaluated this chart before, but having seen enough of these charts, it wouldn't surprise me if we're starting to get a little bit of bullish divergence on the RSI. Let's take a look and see if we have it. How about a lower time frame? Yes, sir. Do you see what I see? You can see there is some divergence coming into this chart. You can see that in general, again, I've just evaluated way too many of these just to anticipate it. See how the RSI is moving up, but price is going down? Okay, there is bullish divergence on the daily. So that is something to make note of. I want to condense price action and look at the 3-day. And let's just focus on price action as king. So the first thing that we have noted on this chart, there is a general downturn that is rounding in formation, which has since flattened out, which is great to see. It looks like we're done going down for the moment, more than likely. It doesn't mean we can't bounce and go lower, but for the moment, it looks like we're trying to flatten out. We're trying to find our grounding here to make some sort of an impulsive wave movement up. Careful with my words, an impulsive move up. And there is bullish divergence coming in on the daily, okay, which is anticipated. General downtrend here. Get this shit off. General downtrend. I don't even know how useful that is, honestly. Well, just because it's like a rounding. I would have it like that. So one of the indications that you're starting to break trend, which is down, is you start to break above some of this downward resistance. Now, obviously, support levels are going to be important here. We don't want to fall below our last wick. Again, don't focus on this candlestick right here. It doesn't count. If we break this area of support, I can't tell you where price is going to go because essentially there's no price. This isn't like the point. There's all these zeros in here. I'm not going to name off all the zeros. It's ridiculous. Is there a way to... This is freaking ridiculous. I'm going to multiply this by a huge value so we can actually have sensical values, okay? So we're going to rechart this. So this is Jesus multiplied by like 100,000 or a million. I don't know. But there's way too many damn zeros in there for me to sit here and try and read this off. That's going to get real annoying real fast. Okay. So we have this general downward resistance, right? You're going to have to translate the values, the USD values, based on me multiplying this. So right now we have this area of support at 0.101. Okay, we don't want to break that because if we break it, again, I can't tell you where price is going to go because this is essentially no man's land. Again, this candlestick doesn't count. So essentially there's white space here. We could go down 50%. We could go down 80%. We could go down 3%. I don't know, but let's hold that area. Now, in terms of areas of resistance, this one's really easy at least to chart in terms of areas of resistance. I see that there's an area right at the point. This is funny. I see there's an area right at the 0.16. Okay. Why do I always have a stuffed up nose when there must be something in this office. Oh my God, I apologize. If it's annoying on your end, believe me, it is monumentally annoying on my end. And I take allergy medication too. It's very frustrating. I also didn't sleep well last night because I can tell I'm a little irritated right now. So I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. You get those nights where it wasn't that I didn't sleep well. It was I didn't get a lot of sleep because I just got this like second wind. Like I couldn't fall asleep last night. And I still got up early. I set my alarm a little later, but still I got up early. I am definitely not the person who says, "Oh, I went to bed later last night. I'm just going to skip the gym today." No, you're a pussy if you do that. You got to get up and get that shit going. I've been like working out my entire life. There's no excuses. No excuses in my book. These are the major areas of resistance I would personally focus on. I'm not going to include these 2 wicks. There's more price confluence over here. So for the 2 individuals new to the live stream who asked a question on this, thank you for the question because actually it was a very good one. And I've never charted this one before. So these are your areas of price confluence. You're going to have to translate that. You divide these values. It's just a bunch of whole leading zeros in front here. But you have 0.16 followed by 0.27, 0.32, and 0.487. Those are your major areas of resistance. Keep in mind that bullish divergence on the daily. It could play out. It might not. Right? If it plays out, ideally bullish, what you'd like to see on this chart. Since you're new to the channel, let me explain a concept that is pretty common. When you have a downward trend and you break it, it's actually bullish for it to come back down and backtest this area and springboard off it as support and then just continue going higher. That's ideally what you'd want to see. What you wouldn't want to see is something like this and then re-entering it and then just going lower and then trying to battle back. You know, we hope is not a word on this channel. You want to see that the lows are in, ideally. You're welcome, Cannabis. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. This is actually, I've shared this on the live stream before. This is the part of the live stream that I enjoy the most. Okay? I get up here, I give you guys a market update. That's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy teaching and try to convey things in a manner that you learn something. But when there's an opportunity for you to ask questions and for me to engage with you, it is the part of the live stream that I enjoy most. Why do you think I do a live stream every single day? Right? I could just put published videos out there and never go live. This is my vision for the channel. I really do want to go live every day. I enjoy doing this stuff. The other thing I wanted to comment on, what the hell was I going to say? I don't know. You get old, you forget stuff. What other questions do we have? Let me tell you a quick story from the gym while I'm looking for the next TA question. Okay, oof, thank you for the question. I'll take one of them, and if I have time, I'll do both, because I want to see if there's any other. Everyone, you're welcome. Apparently, this was a popular coin to chart. You're welcome. You're welcome. All hail Jesus. Funny story from the gym before I get back into charting here, guys. And you'll appreciate this, even if you're not like a workout person, which what's wrong with you if you're not? There was a guy in the gym the other week who was essentially complaining. He came up to me, and it's actually a quite common occurrence. I get a lot of people who come up to me and they ask me, like, where do you get your energy from? Like, what do you want? Where do you get your energy from? Because the one thing I am proud of and that I always have the mindset of is I could care less if someone's stronger than me. I could care less if someone's faster than me. There's always going to be somebody out there that's stronger and faster than me, but I will outwork you. You will not outwork me in the gym. You could try, but it's just not going to happen, all right? So that is my mentality when I go into the gym. I am going to be the hardest working motherfucker in the gym, all right? So he comes up to me, he's asking me, and he's like, man, and I told him straight up, I was like, I have coffee. I used to do pre-workout when I was much younger for a long time. I used to do all sorts of pre-workouts in my 20s and young 30s. But I got off of that stuff a long time ago. I don't take any of that junk. I just do coffee. I do like 2-3 cups of coffee. And so he says, man, he's like, I just can't find the energy. And he tells me how old he is. He's like, yeah, man, when you get to my age, and he said his age. And I was like, really? I was like, well, that's interesting. How old do you think I am? And he shot out a number. He said he thought I was 33. And I was like, really? You think I'm 33? Interesting. So then I proceeded to tell him my age, which was actually a year older than he was. And he's like, oh, shit, because I don't have an excuse. So I was like, yeah. I patted him on the back. I was like, yeah, brother, get to work. I don't want to hear any more motherfucking excuses from you, all right? Pick it up. And if I see you, what did I say to him? If I see you dragging, I'll be in your ear. Don't worry about it. So it's when you have that time during the day, and it should be, if you go in, it's like your time during the day. If you have a family, you have your career, whatever you have going on, that's that one moment in the day. It's brief, it's fleeting. It's that one moment in the day where you can seize it and make the most of it. Don't waste it drowning in, oh, I feel this way, I feel that way. We're all human. I get it. Don't feed into that. Make the most out of that opportunity, because that opportunity is going to come up tomorrow and next week and next month. And do you want that accumulation to build progressively over time in a positive way, where you're building something foundational for yourself, where you're becoming stronger, not just physically but mentally? Or do you want to be somebody who's just constantly complaining and saying, don't be that person, all right? Don't, please. Let me see. Jacked for Jesus. Father, forgive me for these gains I have received. Father, forgive me for these gains I'm about to receive, as Bro Science would say. All right, let me get. I think Oof. By the way, Oof, I'm glad to see you. I haven't seen you. I feel like I haven't seen you in the live stream in a little while. You may have asked questions on at least ILV. ILV sounds familiar to me. Have we looked at this one or no? See, I feel like we've looked at this. Maybe we didn't, but I thought we did. Well, anyway, let's take a look at it. So this one, I'm not familiar with this project. It looks like there is a decent amount of price action. Thumbs up for everyone new tuning in. Would appreciate it. So we're going to go to the weekly. Now, again, if this did ICO, this is one of these projects, this came up the other day. If this really did ICO near the beginning of 2022, it ICO'd at like the worst time. It ICO'd, and you can see that in the price, right? So we've had this monumental decline. Go back to Decentraland Manus chart, okay? There are hope for projects like this. It can come out of this downtrend. If you go back to Decentraland Manus chart, it looked horrendous in the beginning, and then it just went batshit crazy, okay? So now what we want to do is, now that we know this general downtrend is done, okay? It's done for two reasons. One, we've broken this descending line of resistance, okay? So we can kind of check that off. We're good. What else is going on in the chart? Well, what I see right now is I see this low, I see a bounce high, and I see actually a higher low being created here. This isn't, well, actually, this is the double bottom. No, I take that back. This is a double bottom. So we've bounced, we have our high, we have our double bottom. Now, what I want to watch for in this chart, okay, this is actually real similar. This formation reminds me of Harmony 1, okay? What I don't want to see in this chart, what I don't want to see in Harmony 1, is I don't want us to break this level. Let me create a zone for you, okay? So there's really a zone here, and you can see we've double bottomed technically. There's a zone in here right between there. So right between $37, and we'll just call it 80 cents. That's fine. And $38.50. All right, we're just rounding things to keep it simple. So right in between $38.50 and $37.80, that's that main area we want to hold as support, right? Now, if we start to lose that region, what do you think I'm going to say? Well, the first thing I'll say is look left. And when you look left, you see that there's no prior price confluence. It's all white space. And so because it's all white space, we could go 5% lower, we could go 50% lower. I have no idea, right? So let's not gamble that one. Let's hold that area as support, all right? The next thing I like to see in price, we had this general area of downward resistance, and you can see we've broken it, right? General area of downward resistance, we've broken out from it, right? So now what we want to do, since we've broken that general downward area of resistance, what I would eye up is this bounce area right there. And actually, there's confluence right there as well, although I kind of like that right there better. So now what I want to do is I ultimately want to push above 54.80 to 56.60, right? Let's start getting a weekly close ultimately above 56.60. Once we start getting candle body closes above 56.60, now things are starting to really pick up. And so the next area of resistance I would look for, this is a major area, right around 73.50. Next would be, I could do this all day. This is why I hope my life, no, I shouldn't say I hope. I don't hope for anything. This is why my life will be looking different next year, and I'll be doing a lot more of this. 73.50, 92.60, and 108.5. All right, those are your major areas of resistance. Now, the other thing I want to look for on this chart, is there any bullish divergence coming in on any of the time frames? Oh, I like the RSI. I like what I'm seeing in the RSI. I want to focus on that. MACD. What the hell's the... Son of a bitch. Where's the... There we go. Why is it so... Looks terrible. All right. Let's ignore the MACD. Let's focus on the RSI. I like what I'm seeing in this RSI, how it's generally increasing. Is there any bullish divergence, though? I mean, there is, technically, because what you do have going on in this chart, let me show you what I'm seeing. You see how the RSI, well, actually, it might not be, because the bottom is here, technically. Well, no, I guess. If there's bullish divergence here, it's very slight. But I still like the fact that in general, RSI is increasing. I guess there is technically bullish divergence because the RSI, eyes are getting a little dry from staring at a computer screen. I need my glasses. I'm not wearing glasses. CBG doesn't wear glasses for the live stream. Although I could actually put my glasses on. It would make me look more professional. I might blend in with some of the other analysts that are out there. People might actually believe me more if I just do this. You know, there is a lot to say about the visual, right? If you tune into a channel and if somebody just looks very smart, you're going to believe them more than if they don't wear this and they just look like this. You know what I'm saying? Then you start to have the doubts. You got the hair like this, you got the muscles coming out. You're like, am I really going to believe this guy? I don't know if he's credible, right? We all stereotype. Can't judge a book by its cover. Very, very critical, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, RSI is increasing a bit here. There is a little bit of bullish divergence. But the main thing I would focus on is price action. It is king. We've broken this general downtrend. I like to see that. Let's get that close above 56.60, and then we have these other areas of resistance. That's what I would point out. I'm going to wait for CQT. I promise to get to it tomorrow. If you join and ask, I will keep you in mind. Guys, that's all I got today. That's all I got. Casper's the winner of the day, guys. It is Caspa is busting a nut, 14.5% today. And I don't think it has any slowdown in it. If we go back to the 2-day, we're going to close this candlestick out today. You know, as long as we maintain relative momentum here over 2 hours to go, this is about as bullish a candlestick as you can get. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we break out above 48.8. Maybe we wick above it. We get some sort of wick here and close below 48.8. But we're setting up real beautiful for this 2-day candlestick. We're going to get a cross on this MACD. Historically, there's monumental rise in price when you see that. RSI still isn't at oversold levels yet. We need to get all the way up to 81 to 91 for historically oversold, or overbought levels, overbought. So keep an eye on CAS if you're not in CAS. I hold a fat stack of CASPA myself. All right, everybody. Until next time, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the new viewers and the consistently arriving subscribers. And until next time, let's all spread awareness and let's carry the education forward. Take care, everybody.